All right, guys, welcome to the Say Kill Say podcast and YouTube channel. So grateful that you guys are here with me today. This is my very first Dream Girl episode. I'm so excited to be bringing Dream Girl to you guys. The vision that I have for this is something I talked about in my last ketamine video, which is so exciting. But yeah, it's basically like the empire that I'm building that helps you harness the powers of your subconscious mind and the powers of the universe to create the life of your dreams, because you literally are like so powerful and you don't even know it. So I'm gonna show you. So here we go. I got my Topo Chico. Also, earlier I was like really putting off doing this episode. I was like, you know, I'm just gonna wait for Olivia to go down for a nap. And then when she went down for a nap, I was tired, so I took a nap with her. And then I was like, you know what? If I keep waiting for the perfect time to do this podcast episode, like it's probably not gonna get recorded for like the next couple of days. So fuck it. I'm just gonna do it now. So if you hear screams in the background, that's because my daughter is here with us.
Hello! What's up? Oh, you got spit ups on your face. You say hi?
Yeah. Okay, so I got my notes on my phone. We're gonna try podcasting a different way this time. I'm gonna keep my notes. Usually like I read off my computer, but this time I'm like, you know what? I wanna be like here with you guys. Like I wanna be talking. And so like I'm gonna be using my phone. So this week, I wanna talk to you guys about how you can actually manifest your desires, actually get your mind on board with where you're going, right? I mean, like I'm always talking about this, but specifically what I want to talk about right now, how to actually become the dream girl. Like this is like a big part of actually like implementing aligned action and inspired action into your day-to-day, like how to actually embody this girl, right? Because it's like, it's really easy to like dream about it, think about it, daydream about it, visualize it. But like sometimes finding the right ratio of like changing who you are to become the dream girl can be challenging, right? Because we run into these challenges, we run into roadblocks, we run into resistance, emotions come up, painful memories come up. All these things are coming up and that are getting in the way of us implementing this new way of being, whether that's like you going to the gym, you starting dating again, being in a relationship again, starting a business, starting a new job, like whatever the hell it is. This is why I'm gonna tell you guys the secret. This is why people don't follow through with their New Year's resolutions. Period. Like this is the secret why all the information is out there for people to like do their New Year's resolutions. Like we all have free will, but this is why like 99% of those people don't ever actually change. Okay. I'm going to share the secret with you guys. I've done it. I've implemented myself and it actually works. So I can't wait to share this with you guys. Okay. All right. So it starts with who you are when you begin wanting to change something about your life. Okay, so I'm gonna use a personal example, obviously, because like that's all I really have to go off of. I don't know if you can relate, but I've always been like an all or nothing girly, right? Like I've always been that girl who either didn't do it at all or went full force, whether that was going to the gym, being in a relationship, starting my mindset business, whatever it was. And like maybe it was because my dad was in the military. Maybe it's because my dad was always like, look, if you're gonna do something, you better fucking do it, and you better put 100% of your energy or your effort into it, otherwise it's not worth doing. And like granted, I understand that that is like, it's a helpful way to think for some people, I guess, because like that way like you don't leave anything on the table, but at the same time it doesn't really, like that is such a masculine energy type thing. And as a woman, especially like a Capricorn woman, which I was like really stuck in my masculine energy for a long time, like action, do, like put out, and not so much in my feminine era, like receiving and being in flow and receiving. Really learning how to do that now. So anyways, maybe it was because of my dad, whatever the reason was, I'm coming to terms with the fact that like I'm not in the military and that things don't have to be a struggle and a grind and work so hard you literally hate yourself. He literally used to say to me like, I wish, what did he say? I hate it when it sucks. I wish it would suck more. And like, granted, it probably got him through some really hard times and like some really shitty situations, but like, I just don't want to manifest that as my life, right? Because as Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Okay. And I'm going to go into that more in a little bit, but it doesn't have to suck so much. Like it doesn't have to suck at all. Let me explain a little bit. Go to the gym, start a relationship, build a business, be 100% all in, 100% effort, like change my entire way of thinking overnight kind of vibes is like what I was doing. Like I was always like, okay, like if I'm gonna do this thing, I'm gonna be that person tomorrow. There's no room for error. There's no room for fucking up. There's no room for being the person that I was like literally yesterday, like last night. And so I never really gave myself the space, the time to like integrate being that new version of myself, right? I always kind of thought it was because I wasn't tough enough or I didn't have enough willpower to get through it, because whenever I did try new things, I'd fall flat on my face. And what was exactly the outcome I was trying to prevent by going all in. So like totally like contradicted myself, okay? But I've come to realize that it always kept me right where I was because my brain could not handle the all at once. It could not handle having a completely different routine, a completely new way of thinking, like embodying a completely new personality and identity overnight. And like, that's not because like I'm a sissy. It's not because like I can't handle it. It's not because it's not because of anything. It's because like literally like your nervous system can only handle so much change all at once, because once it starts detecting change, it starts resisting because you're outside your comfort zone. And like you have to do slow, steady implementation to show your brain that it's safe, right? Okay. Your brain needs homeostasis. And for those of you that don't know what homeostasis is, your body has like a normal range in which everything is kind of existing inside, right? Like your temperature, if it's above 38, sorry, I'm going to do Celsius, 38.5 to 39 degrees, like you have a fever, like you have a high temperature. If you're below 36 degrees Celsius, like you have hypothermic temperatures, like that's when things start going out of whack in your body.
Do you just want attention from me? You want to come sit with me?
Okay. Same with like the pH in your blood. Like if the pH in your blood is either above or below 7.35 to 7.45, you are out of homeostasis. You're out of balance, right? Like everything that is going on within your body has a normal limit range. Oh, excuse you. That it needs to remain within to keep your body working. Okay. pH, food, water, sunlight, right? Like if you eat too much food, you feel like crap. If you don't eat enough food, you feel like crap, and it's not good for you. Like if you drink too much water, you get out of alignment. If you don't drink enough water, you're out of alignment. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like you need balance in order for things to optimally function. Okay. So, everything required balance, and it's the same for becoming a higher version of yourself. It's the same for changing your identity. It's the same for implementing new habits and new practices in your life. So steady, slow implementation will allow you to remain in homeostasis without your brain going completely haywire and fighting against you every time you try dating again seriously, you start that gym workout routine up again, or you shoot your shot again at starting that business. Okay, steady, slow implementation. This reminds me of the tortoise and the hare. Like the tortoise, the reason why he was able to be successful is because he worked slowly. He, like the hare, like, excuse the, almost like the childlike example right now, but like the hare, like booked it, burned out all of his energy, needed a nap, and then like woke up and it was too late. right? And I'm not saying that like there's ever any moment that's too late for you, but like I'm telling you, like even me taking a nap today, I'm like, oh, I have a million things I want to get done, a million things I want to do, but like I'm gonna burn out if I don't just take 30 minutes to an hour of rest right now. Like if that means that me taking a 30 to 60 minute nap means that I get to go for the rest of the day feeling good versus like not taking a nap and burning out by like 4 and like feeling like crap because I didn't finish it, feeling unsuccessful because I didn't finish it, feeling unaccomplished, all of these things, like I'd much rather just take the fucking nap. Okay? It's literally why people who set New Year's resolutions hardly are ever successful. It's because they expect to implement this huge change all at once, and it completely overloads their system, okay? They hire a personal trainer and go from couch potato to 5 a.m. gym sessions a week, and they get burnt out fast, right? Like how many of you have done that? Because I know I've done that. Like start a new workout routine, get super excited, super motivated. Oh my God, I'm gonna be shredded in 3 months, yada, yada, yada. Day 1, you're feeling pretty good. You're like, day 2, you show up, you're sore as shit. You're like, cool, this is the grind. This is what it feels like. Day 3 shows up, you're like, oh my God, like I'm literally hurting. Day 4, you're like, this fucking sucks. Like I don't think I can do this. And who knows if you even show up to day 5. You haven't even made it a whole week becoming this new person. Whereas if you had actually like started this new workout routine and maybe done like 2 days a week at first, right? Don't do anything else different. Just go to the gym once, or you just go twice in 1 week, right? Like that is so much easier and so much like effort-wise easier, and also so much easier on your nervous system. It's so much easier to implement, okay? So this personal trainer that you hired that all of a sudden wants to take you from couch potato to going to the gym 5 times a week at 5 a.m., like they're not going to be successful as a personal trainer. Like they're probably going to fall flat on their face and not going to be a personal trainer for very long. Because you're going to be like, fuck this shit. Like this fitness shit is for the birds. Like, you know what I mean? But if you hire like a good personal trainer that knows what they're doing and understands how physical fitness works with the mind, which like your mind is literally like 95% what you're doing. They already know this, and they start you out slow so you can slowly reprogram your subconscious to be on board with a new unfamiliar routine instead of fighting it and resisting it, right?
Oh, say hi.
She's like, I want this to be about me. Like, let's be honest. So my point here is that the brain cannot handle heavy change like that. I mean, like it can. You're gonna run into a lot of resistance. You're gonna run into a lot of like breaking down. A lot of your limiting beliefs are gonna get dug up all at once. It's gonna be really fucking overwhelming. And like, unless you have a drill sergeant there to keep you accountable, or like a therapist living with you to like help you work through all of those things as they come up. And even if you did have that, that just sounds so emotionally exhausting. Like that sounds like so much energy drain, like all at once. Like, I don't think like anybody could be successful in doing it. And that's why like, I don't believe in the 75 hard. Unpopular opinion, I don't believe in that shit, because literally somebody who doesn't read every day, doesn't work out, doesn't drink a lot of water, doesn't stick to a diet, I don't know what the other one is, and all of a sudden they're gonna implement all these changes all at once. That's why like, it always turns into like 75 soft. Or like, that's why it always turns into like a 75-10, because they are like 10 hard or like whatever, you know what I mean? Like it only ends up, they maybe make it 10 days, because that is so much change all at once. It just doesn't freaking work, okay? So then it's gonna be pretty difficult to stay on track, is my point, because you're gonna be fighting against your subconscious mind, and with your subconscious mind being 95% in charge, like think about all the regulatory systems that are happening in your body, blinking, digestion, your heart rate, breathing, brain function, like everything that is going on inside your body. Like you're not controlling those things. They're just happening. And so like 95% of you is unconscious, is subconscious. And so when you're fighting, when you are 5% and your subconscious is 95, like you are going to lose. You're not going to win. Promise. I've tried it. Doesn't work. It's gonna be, you're gonna be fighting against your subconscious pretty hard because it's going to feel so new, so different, and so unfamiliar all at once, and it's going to put your nervous system into overdrive. So I'm done telling you why it's not going to work, and I'm gonna tell you how you can make it work, how you can make implementing aligned action into your daily routine, how you can implement small baby steps in becoming the person who has exactly what you want. She's like, pay attention to me. How you can begin embodying the dream girl, right? Okay, this is how you're gonna do it. You're gonna figure out your end goal, and I'm gonna put this in the notes, oh my gosh, what's it called? The description. So you're gonna figure out what you want your end goal is. Okay, and I don't want you to pick something huge. I don't want you to pick this massive end goal. Granted, like if you have like a vision of what you want, that's amazing. I love that, but I want you to start small, because don't be like me where it's been taking you 4 years to literally get a mindset business off the ground because you've been in this pattern of doing it over and over and over again, okay? So I want you to figure out your end goal. I want you to pick a timeline. And if it's your first time doing this, pick something small, something attainable that you could achieve in the next 30 days. Okay. And maybe you're already like, oh my God, like that doesn't seem like it would be big enough to like actually make a difference. This doesn't seem like it would actually be big enough to like move the needle. I promise you, remember the tortoise and the hare. I promise you, when the tortoise, when he got like 5 feet in and the hare was already like a quarter of the way done, maybe he also was thinking that like it wasn't gonna work, or maybe like that what he wasn't doing enough because he wasn't seeing like huge progress all at once. I promise you, like, you guys know the end of the story. Like, the tortoise ended up winning, because if you know anything about compounding interest, it starts out really, really slow, like really slow, just consistent small action every single day, micro shifts every single day. And then at some point, 16 becomes 32, 32 becomes 64, 64 becomes 128, 128 becomes 256, and so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden it reaches this tipping point, if you will. It's from Brianna Wiest from The Mountain Is You. If you haven't read that book, it's phenom. Also, I realize I'm talking so fast, but I just get so excited about this shit, and sorry. Hope you're not watching it on 2 times. Otherwise it probably sounds really fast. But it's gonna reach that tipping point where all of a sudden that horizontal line on the graph, on the compounding interest graph, is going to spike, and it's you're exponentially gonna see results. Okay? It's usually in the 11th hour. So maybe it's reading 3 pages a day if you want to get into reading, okay? Maybe it's unloading the dishwasher in the morning and running it before bed. Or maybe it's just 1. Maybe you just do it in the morning. If you want to like be more tidy, you know, have like a cleaner kitchen, whatever it is. Like make it interesting. Here's the key. Here's really like the secret here. Here's really the key here, okay? So you're going to want to listen. Whatever it is, here's how you find the balance. You want to make it something that is interesting enough that it will challenge you a little bit, but not so big that your mind sees it as impossible. Okay? So for example, if you're not a reader and all of a sudden your goal is to read 30 pages a day, your mind is going to see this as impossible. Your mind is going to see this as something that is going to require a lot of effort. Let me just finish this. I'm literally almost done. Okay. Okay, so for example, if you're not a reader and all of a sudden your goal is to read 30 pages a day, like you want to read more, your mind is going to see this as nearly impossible. Your mind is going to see this as like so much mental energy, so much work, and make it really difficult to do so. Like it's going to be like, no, we don't want to do this. Like that sounds like a lot, right? Okay. But if you set the bar too low and say, oh, I'm just going to read 1 paragraph a day, your brain doesn't see that as interesting enough because it's like too easy. Like it doesn't even like seem like it's really worth your time because it's so easy. It's like, okay, well, what am I gonna achieve by reading one paragraph a day? Like hardly anything, okay? So again, like balance, because like reading one paragraph a day probably isn't challenging enough, but like 30 pages a day is probably too much. See, like balance, okay? So you want to set it in the middle, right? Like you want to set it in the middle, something that's attainable, but like also challenging, okay? Bring some balance into implementing a new routine. When you feel established with that routine, you can try another goal. And the more you do this, the more your confidence will build and the more easy it will be to mix up your routine and get outside your comfort zone. So the more that you get outside your comfort zone, the more you get comfortable being uncomfortable, the more you get really good at being like, I want this thing. How can I implement it into my life without overloading my system? It's just gonna come naturally. And you're just gonna be really, really good at being like, ooh, I wanna do this. I wanna do this. I wanna do this. I want a little bit of less of this, okay? This will lead you to literally being able to manifest, create, however the fuck you want to say it, anything that you want, because you're not killing yourself trying to be a completely different person overnight, but you're also setting goals that are challenging enough that it remains interesting. Okay? You wouldn't want to play a board game that you knew that you could win in the first 5 minutes. Like I remember this one time I was playing Candyland with my grandma and I intentionally put like I can't remember what, it was like the Ice Princess or whatever. I intentionally put that card on the top because I knew that I was going to go first and I was going to draw it first and that I would immediately win. Do you know how fun that was for me? It wasn't fun at all. Like I literally won and I was like, well, that was dumb. And then I mixed it up again and I was like, I want to play again. And I actually want to play fair because like, that was stupid. Okay. But you also don't want to play a board game that you knew that you couldn't win unless you had like so much experience. Or like you just knew that like you didn't have the strategy for, or that it was going to take like 3 hours to play, right? Like, I feel that way about like Monopoly. I'm like, I'm not ready to sit down for 3 hours and play this game, but like, I'll fuck it up with some Uno. You know what I mean? So it's all about finding balance. Okay. So thank you guys so much for listening to my first ever like Dream Girl Inc. podcast YouTube episode. I have just had so much success with this ketamine treatment. Like I literally finally feel like I'm at a point where I'm comfortable in front of the camera. I'm comfortable putting myself out there on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and like doing all these things. And like I really, really see myself like fulfilling this vision and I just can't wait. So like if you've been there with me from the beginning, I love you. Thank you so much for being there with me. And like, because I'm sure that that wasn't easy to watch. Okay, love you guys so much. Please like, subscribe, comment below if you like this. Follow me on Instagram at SayKelsay and my Dream Girl, and my Mindset Manifestation page is the Dream Girl Inc. And I'm also same handles on TikTok. So love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me today and I'll see you next time. Mwah.